Hi, and welcome to another Thanks Again Film podcast, episode 27. Mortal Kombat 2. Mortal Kombat 2 is amusing. The title is amusing. When I was walking into the theater, I went and saw it in the theater earlier this week or last week. No, it was opening day, I think. I was walking past the poster and I was just amused by it. Because of the video game. I don't know, it's amusing somehow. Because of the video game. It's like they picked Mortal Kombat 2, the video game, and made a movie about it. Not Mortal Kombat or Mortal Kombat 3. Every time they go along, it's like the movie is doing what the video game was doing. So, if they make 11 of these, I hope they go Mortal Kombat 1. Which I downloaded last night. I talked about Mortal Kombat 2 last night on the YouTube channel. So this is kind of a round two. Yeah, it was a fun movie. I don't know what to say. It was a fun movie. It looked like the video game. I didn't get what I wanted out of it because I wanted to see two things. I wanted to see Sub-Zero. I wanted to see Sub-Zero versus Scorpion Part 2. And I wanted to see something with Raiden. Every time I play Mortal Kombat, that's who I pick. I pick Sub-Zero and Raiden. And the movie didn't have any of it. But all the other stuff was pretty fun. The one big thing about Mortal Kombat that I find amusing is the metaphor. I think Mortal Kombat is, I don't know where it's supposed to go with that, but I think the violence of Mortal Kombat is a clever metaphor. I think it's saying during the fights, I've beaten you so bad, it's like this. It hurts so much. It's as if. So, for example, Sub-Zero would freeze you on a block of ice and then punch it and shatter, and then you're just shattered bits of ice everywhere. is gruesome if it really happened, but then 2 seconds later you're back on your feet to keep fighting. Or it goes round two, which is to suggest someone just died. And then they regroup themselves from particles of being tossed everywhere, and then said, okay, one more time. It's a giant metaphor for something. I know in the last Mortal Kombat, not one, but 11, they started playing around with time travel. The story of Mortal Kombat gets so out of control. It's the idea of it is that there's a tournament. There's this other world that is dangerous, and they hold a tournament. And they'll say select, I don't, 5 fighters maybe from that planet, from that world, to defend it, or we take it over. So basically, at the end, at the end, Shao Kahn, I think it's Shao Kahn, he'll stand there and say, "Job well done. I won't invade your world for this amount of time." And then it goes over and it has a hero. The storyline is built the hero, which is Liu Kang. He's a Bruce Lee type, and he's endlessly amusing. They, Liu Kang always steps up in front of the group as the leader. When the storyline collects everyone as a what the hell are we gonna do? And then Liu Kang steps in front and he points his finger and says, I'll beat everyone. it's it's the idea of it's an homage is what it is. But it's saying, get out of my way. He has that kind of personality. And I don't know. I don't know why the story doesn't progress to the point where there's no more Mortal Kombat. I haven't played or looked at Mortal Kombat though. It's worth doing a lore dive. I'm gonna hit the wiki. Ed Boon was in this. I think. Yeah, Ed Boon. I can't believe Ed Boon created Mortal Kombat. When I look at Ed Boon, I think of Injustice, which I'm waiting on. Injustice 3, which is really surprising that DC handed over their characters to the Mortal Kombat world. Injustice has crossovers sometimes that reach over into Mortal Kombat. So yeah, you can't. It's if DC is doing that, DC can be gruesome sometimes. But I think they understand the metaphor. So, if it is a metaphor, there's a version of Mortal Kombat that's very Tea Party. There's an old English gentleman version of Mortal Kombat that has some strong dialogue. Um, in a flashback, Emperor Shao Kahn kills King Jared in Mortal Kombat, taking over Adenia in the name of Outworld, as well as Queen Sindel as Princess Katana, as his consort and daughter respectively. So it's horrible. Shao Kahn shows up and he kills the king, and what happens after that is he remarries. He's forced the queen to marry him, and then takes the princess as his daughter. This Skull Man, the giant, muscle-bound Skull Man shows up, and he's like, "I'm the king now." And the queen tries to kill him. No, she doesn't. The queen made a move for him and cut through a bunch of soldiers. I didn't understand that at all. And it's the main storyline. What happened with the queen, I mean, is there's something on the microphone. What happened with the queen, I didn't understand. Cuz he has the princess trained up into being a katana. And the queen has a mask. She has leather straps around her eyes and mouth. And she's just, I don't know what you call it. Is some sort of, you know how they pull drunk drivers over? There's like there's two or three positions that the police will put you in if you're in trouble on the side of the road. One's when you're on your knees, which is what happened with the queen. They put you in handcuffs and you're on your knees and you have to wait. And that's what he did. And he put a leather strap over her eyes and mouth, and then one over the top of her head to hold it. It's really weird. The other thing that they'll do, they'll have you lay down with your hands behind your head or sit. They'll just have you sit on the side of the road. So he has the queen sitting on the side of the road in the whatchamacallit chamber. The throne room. It's really weird. It's not about. It's a perspective of Shao Kahn that he is not interested in being king, like playing the king. He sees the people of Jared as a means to an end somehow. Because if he did, he'd have the queen in a chair right next to him. And she's arrested. He has her arrested 24 hours a day. And Katana doesn't like it. Years later, with the 10th Mortal Kombat tournament on the horizon, Quan Chi, on Shao Kahn's orders, revives Kung Lao and Kano. Okay, hold on a second. So they died last time? I don't remember the movie. They might have died. Kano lost his eye. Unable to corrupt and control the latter due to his already corrupt nature. Back in Earth Realm, Lord Raiden and Sonya Blade retrieve washed up actor Johnny Cage to fight as their 5th champion alongside Sonya, Liu Kang, Jax Briggs, and Cole Young. But Johnny refuses to participate. Uh, the tournament begins. And the first round has Sonya fighting a corrupted Sindel, while Johnny is forcefully teleported to fight Katana. It felt like a video game. They did a great job. The Sonya fight, there's something about it. It's in the video game you expect the violence, and then in the movie you expect action movie. And me personally, I've gotten to the point where I don't really understand fighting. Fighting in movies. I've gotten to the point where it's to see a fight scene, a choreographed fight scene, it bores me. Because I know it's choreographed. They have a plan, an idea. Someone's gonna hit someone in the head, and then it's over. But if there's story behind it, I always point people. If anyone tries to have a conversation about fighting in movies and story that's needed, I always point at Fist of Fury. The first half hour, first 20 minutes, half hour, Fist of Fury. It's two dojos, and the leader of one passes away. And then the rival one shows up to gloat at the wake. And people are in mourning and they're not having it. And then at the end of the scene, this one guy has the nerve to slap Bruce Lee in the face. And it sets up this fight scene where the next day he goes over to their dojo. And it's that scene where he's standing there and he's surrounded. And it makes sense. It's not just about look what he can do. There's meaning to it. You want to see how well you want to see how well it's done. Because they went too far. People were at a funeral. And he's sticking up for a mentor or something. If you have fight scenes, you really need to put meaning behind them. Kill Bill does it. And you have to watch the movie to understand it, but that movie is something about it's hard to put in words. I've heard it before. It's something about someone moving on in life, trying to find it's hard to put in words, to find themselves in a way where they could be a mom. It's very much wrapped up in the hotel scene. That movie isn't about smacking people around. And then there's Mortal Kombat 2, where you have movies like this of where there's stakes of okay, if they lose this fight, then Earth is going to look like this mess. Which is this fantasy plot stuff. Then they had Katana's storyline, which I haven't thought about yet. But after seeing the movie, it makes me realize that there's stuff in this film that you can tell that there's emotion behind it. I'm trying to think. The opening the opening scene, they Katana loses her royalty. Her dad dies. Her mom's is I don't want to say Macbeth. It might be a little fight scene Macbeth. Katana is fighting with the villain throughout the movie. I'm gonna keep reading because it might be. Katana defeats Johnny but spares him. Against Shao Kahn's direct orders. That's what I noticed. It's somewhat Gladiator. This might fall under Gladiator movie because Shao Kahn is some type of overlord. I also thought it was interesting that at some point there's like one or two fights, and then Shao Kahn is the red team. Usually, you'd have it where people are fighting each other, and then they fight the boss at the end. The boss is fighting everyone throughout this movie. Katana reveals she is a spy for Raiden in the tournament, but her bodyguard, Jade, confronts her for betraying Shao Kahn. So, Jade is loyal to Shao Kahn. Just saying it feels political. I don't see how anyone could be loyal to Shao Kahn. In order to be on Shao Kahn's side, which is I'm going to what do you call it when like Alexander conquest? In order to be on the conqueror's side, they in a bloody death tournament where everything ends up nasty. I think they have to be following their own self interest somehow. So my guess is Jade likes her Jade powers, and she's getting them from Shao Kahn's camp. Same thing with a lot of the other villains in the story. It's really interesting, Mortal Kombat, because you'll look at it and you'll think, what a bunch of villains. And it turns out that they're just, it's what a fight is. It's pure, it's battlefield stuff. It's a bunch of characters who have wrapped their identity around battlefields. What people want to see is Jedi stuff. With Jedi, it's clean and elegant. There's no blood in the cuts. It cauterizes a wound. People just hold it and they're like, "Oh no, it hurts." But it's like the surgeon came along. It's Battlefield and the Battlefield surgeon all at the same time. Mortal Kombat's the opposite. It's as messy as it can be. Quan Chi recovers Shinnok's stolen amulet from Kano. He, Shang Tsung, and a revenant, Kung Lao, then attack and distill most of Raiden's power for the amulet. That's not in the movie. It's in the story. You don't ever see Raiden get attacked. You see him wounded. So Shang Tsung, Shang Tsung is not Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn is the big bad guy. Shang Tsung is the bad guy from the first Mortal Kombat. He passed away recently. When you think Mortal Kombat, you really think of Shang Tsung. So, Quan Chi recovers Shinnok's stolen amulet from Kano. Kano's the guy with the eye. He, Shang Tsung, and a revenant, Kung Lao. I think Kung Lao's the guy with the hat. Yup. So Shang Tsung shows up in this story somewhere without being on camera. And Kung Lao, the guy with the hat, then attack and steal most of Raiden's power for the amulet, all off screen, which they bind to Shao Kahn, making him immortal. The way they show it in the movie is Shao Kahn goes to his witch doctor which is it. It's all very Robin Hood. He goes to his advisor, and his advisor gives him what he needs, which is immortality, and it seems like a trivial thing. It's hilarious the way they put this movie together, because the way he shows it, it's as if he has other stuff to do. They show it as if he's bored and the emperor's bothering him. He's like, "What do you want? Immortality? Okay, this little ball will do it." And he burns his chest. And then he's just immortal. Raiden is barely alive and incapacitated as a result. So they steal Raiden's power. Raiden is immortal. He's like some sort of lightning god in Greek mythology. That's why I want to see him fight. He's just pouring lightning down wherever it's ridiculous. It doesn't. Mortal Kombat does not make any sense. You have a character. Who am I thinking of? I'm thinking of with the leg kicks. Kung Lao. No, Kung Lao's the guy with the hat. Liu Kang, a fictional character in yeah. Liu Kang basically he's the one with the leg kicks that go across the screen. He basically can just dump fire on someone. At any it's ridiculous. They stand. That's why the Baraka fight is so interesting. Because they show up like, oh no, we need to fight Baraka. He looks dangerous. And none of them are worried about it. And I think partially because they have a guy on their side who can just dump fire on people. And if all of them get in trouble, a guy with lightning power shows up and just dumps lightning on people. Sonya's got armbands that rip your arm off. I don't... The second round begins when Liu Kang and Kung Lao face off. So the hero from the first movie, not exactly. The hero from the original Mortal Kombat, the video game too. Liu Kang faces off against the hat guy, Kung Lao. Despite his efforts to redeem Kung Lao, Liu Kang is forced to kill him. There's a lot of brother talk in that scene. That scene reminded me of old Kung Fu movies. Despite his efforts to redeem Kung Lao, Liu Kang is forced to kill him. It's a really good fight. It's almost like the only fight in the movie. The movie stops, sets the stage, and it has an actual combat scene. It has an actual giant big budget combat scene. Jax fights against Jade and defeats, but spares her to repay what Katana did for Johnny. Cole, it's weird. Nobody wants to get rid of any of those characters. Cole fights and manages to mortally wound Shao Kahn. But his wounds heal instantly, and Shao Kahn kills Cole. Now, I think Cole is a made up character. I think Cole is a made up. I'm not sure, I'd have to look, but I think Cole is a made up character from the previous movie. He was the hero of the last movie. So I woke up, I didn't wake up, my eyes went a little wide when I saw that happen. I thought, okay, they actually, I hate it when they say that, but sometimes in movies, people will kill off characters to be dramatic and say he paid the ultimate price and died. And it's just unnecessary. I think some writers add that to the story to make the story feel more dramatic. And I think it's false. But Cole dying made sense. I hate to say it. Cole, when the big bad of this movie kills Cole, I don't want to talk about the character of Cole. I'm just saying that me personally, in the first Mortal Kombat movie, he had a lot of dialogue. And every time that he speaks, he talks about how much he loves his family. He talks about how much he loves his family and he wants to fight for his sister. And how he could prove his worth by doing Mortal Kombat. And I think the story improves without without Cole saying those things. Nothing against the character. They did it to him in this movie too. The minute he has dialogue, no one else talks like that. The minute he has dialogue, he's talking about I can be Mortal Kombat and save and defeat my sister. But what's amusing about the fight is that it's very video game. They did a great job with this movie. Realizing they cannot defeat Shao Kahn while he has the amulet, Liu Kang, Jax, Sonya, and Johnny travel to the home of Tarkatans. Johnny fights and defeats their leader, Baraka. Now, I think it was in Mortal Kombat 10 or 11. They start talking about the history of the Tarkatans. And I find it fascinating. Because you see a monster like Baraka with all the teeth. And you're like, why would they do that horror show of a character design? And then they go further into who that character is. And it's just, there's a whole village. It's not just Frankenstein, it's the whole Frankenstein village. They're little kid Frankensteins running around. And with Baraka, they made him likable. But what I was getting at is, he's not, those people are not monsters necessarily. It's some kind of affliction. They've got some kind of plague that scars their face and grows more teeth. And in some of these Mortal Kombats, you could see the history of Katana. I mean, Milena. She's from the same village, or she was thrown into that village. Something like that. Regaining confidence in himself and earning Braga's trust as he guides him to a hidden entrance below Shao Kahn's palace. Katana is captured by Jade, her bodyguard, and Shao Kahn has Katana tied up in the public square. The four Earthrealm champions try to get the amulet. But Jax is killed by Shao Kahn, while Liu Kang and Sonya are taken away for the next round of the tournament. Kano. Kano does heavy lifting in this movie. I hate to say it, but hats off to that actor. He his comedic delivery is really something. Him and Urban and the guy who plays Baraka. They did something. He's got wild eyes. He made a choice. He's got the look of someone who just got stabbed or surprised or something, and his eyes went wide, and he's stuck there. I thought the death of Jax was too gruesome, personally. There's something weird about Jax getting hurt, but it is Mortal Kombat. But at the same time, I can't think of any other characters walking around with prosthetics. It's just story and character for them to be killed off. Kano, preferring the luxuries and riches of Earthrealm over Outworld, betrays Shao Kahn and reveals that Johnny, a revived Bihan, has the amulet and is currently in the Netherrealm. Raiden, using what little power he has left, sends Kano and Johnny to Netherrealm to destroy the amulet. Now they push Raiden aside because if you're doing the argument of powers, then he could destroy everyone. But I think it's neat if you leave that there and just make that part of his personality. Because it kind of happens with Liu Kang. Liu Kang fights and he's just dumping fire on everyone until something happens. In the final round, Shao Kahn fatally wounds Liu Kang. With the latter realizing that he himself is not the chosen one. Liu Kang evaporates into fire as he declares that he will rescue the fallen. Sonya frees Kit. It doesn't make any sense. He pulled an Eobard Thawne is what happened. Somehow he's stuck at the moment of death, and he picks fire. So it's a bit like Beam Me Up, Scotty. I'm spoiling Star Trek. There's a moment in Star Trek where Scotty shows up in the later movies or a TV show or something, and you can't believe it. Scotty's back. It's because the Enterprise in somewhere in these old episodes was destroyed. And right before it was destroyed, Scotty hit the button on the teleporter. So, presumed dead Scotty made it so that he was halfway teleported. Between the Enterprise or whatever planet or ship he was going to show up on. And then he stayed there for decades. Until someone found the work that he was doing and hit the button. And I think that's what happens to Liu Kang in this movie. Is that he hits the fire, he can teleport himself through fire of where he's in a more healed state, and I think he just stays there. In the Sonya frees Katana before being kicked out by Shao Kahn, who wins the tournament for Outworld. Poor Sonya in this movie. She has one fight, and the rest she participates, but she's kind of kicked to the side. Also, they picked military Sonya, kind of. I think she's really amusing in wearing the 80s aerobics gear. She wears this green leotard with like white socks. There's an amusing version of this movie of them doing time travel and picking up an older Johnny Cage and a younger, not younger, but a Sonya from the 80s. Or maybe having her stuck in the 80s. I don't know. Sonya frees Katana before being knocked out by Shao Kahn, who wins the tournament for Outworld. Shao Kahn wins, Earth loses. Katana denounces Shao Kahn. This is where the story shows up again. This is what the opening of the movie has an ending. Katana denounces Shao Kahn. and formally switches allegiances to Earthrealm. Giving them one more champion, and fights Shao Kahn one-on-one. So it's a bit of a reversal. Shao Kahn takes a kingdom from someone. And at the climax of this movie, Kitana wants to take a kingdom from Shao Kahn. Johnny and Kano team up with the spirit of Hanzo Hasashi, which is Scorpion. The spirit of Scorpion. So they travel to the afterlife. And they find Scorpion. And they travel to the underworld, I think is what it is. And a reformed Jade to fight Bihan. And they destroy the amulet, during which Johnny's powers are unlocked. Now mortal, Shao Kahn is unmasked and killed by Kitana, freeing Adenia as she becomes its queen. Shang Tsung attempts to kill Raiden. I don't remember seeing Shang Tsung in this movie. Kills Raiden in his weakened state, but the amulet's destruction restores Raiden's power to easily repel Shang Tsung's attack. Sometime later, Johnny, Sonya, Raiden, Kitana, Jade, Kano, and Baraka prepare to use a captured Quan Chi to revive the other fallen champions. It's like the video game. They sort of threw away the metaphor. You can tear people up, but there's also magic that can bring them back. So people walk away kind of laughing at the whole thing. I think he got cut out of the movie. Shang Tsung is the most amusing character in Mortal Kombat. All right, well, that's Mortal Kombat. I'd have to really think about it. There's stuff. There's all this stuff is like a whirlwind of Katana gathering help to overthrow the person who ruined her life. So it's just a question of what does that mean? Anyway, it's a fun movie. I highly recommend it.